Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Today's topic is probably one of the most unexpected we've ever talked about, but trust us, it works. The title says it all: teach an English lesson to your pet. Yep, your dog, cat, hamster, or even your goldfish. Don't have a pet? A stuffed animal works too.
It might sound silly at first, but the method behind this madness is powerful. When you explain something out loud in English, even if it's to a pet, you're forcing your brain to organize thoughts in real time, just like you would in an actual conversation.
Exactly. This is called output practice, and it's one of the most effective ways to build fluency. Reading and listening are important, but speaking is what transforms passive knowledge into active skills.
And the great thing about talking to your pet: zero judgment. Your dog doesn't care if you mess up the past perfect. Your cat's not going to roll their eyes if you mispronounce vegetable. It's a totally safe space to practice.
Plus, it's more fun than standing in front of a mirror. Let's say you're teaching your dog colors in English. You could say, "This ball is red. This toy is blue." Or go even further: "Today, we're going to learn how to describe your favorite treats."
I love that. And you can turn it into a routine. Maybe every day you teach your pet a new lesson. You could explain grammar rules, narrate your day, or describe what you're doing as you cook or clean.
It's almost like pretending you're a teacher. And when you try to explain something to someone else, yes, even a non-human listener, you reinforce your own understanding of that concept.
Right? Like if you try to explain how the present continuous tense works. I am feeding you now. See? I'm feeding. Present continuous. Boom, you're practicing grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation all at once.
And over time, this casual, playful speaking practice starts to rewire your brain. You become more comfortable forming sentences, your speech flows more naturally, and your confidence grows.
And confidence is key. Most English learners know more than they think. They just freeze when it's time to speak. Talking to your pet removes that fear. It's low pressure and fun.
And who knows, your pet might actually enjoy all the extra attention. My cat stares at me like I'm crazy, but I'm sure he secretly loves his daily English lessons.
Mine too. And I've even started improvising little stories to tell her. It's great for creativity and vocabulary building. You can use everyday words and also experiment with new ones.
That's a great tip. Storytelling is such a powerful way to improve fluency. You don't even need a script. You can just make up something like, "Once upon a time, there was a very smart dog who wanted to learn English," and take it from there.
Yes. And when you do that, you're not just practicing grammar or pronunciation. You're also training your brain to think in English. The more you talk out loud, even to your pet, the more natural English becomes in your daily life.
And the beauty of this method is, you can start at any level. If you're a beginner, use simple sentences: "You are a cat. You like food." If you're more advanced, challenge yourself: "You may not comprehend what I'm saying, but I'll persist because explaining complex ideas helps me grow."
You can even treat it like a presentation. Imagine you're giving a TED talk to your hamster. Today, we explore the importance of hydration and why water is essential for life. It sounds ridiculous, but it makes practice feel fresh and even entertaining.
Plus, you'll start to notice gaps in your knowledge. When you struggle to explain something, that's a clue: I need to review that grammar point, or I don't know the word for that yet. That's how learning becomes active instead of passive.
Exactly. And the act of speaking out loud, not just thinking silently, really strengthens your memory. When you say words, hear them, and maybe even act them out with gestures, you're engaging multiple senses. That helps lock the language in.
Let's not forget pronunciation, too. When you talk to your pet, you're not just practicing words, you're practicing how to say them. You can experiment with stress, intonation, connected speech, all without feeling self-conscious.
And if you're feeling brave, record yourself during these pet lessons. Later, you can listen back, notice any mistakes, and improve. It's like having your own mini speaking class every day.
Totally. And once it becomes a habit, you'll be surprised how much your speaking improves without ever setting foot in a classroom. Fluency doesn't always come from traditional lessons, it comes from consistent, meaningful use.
And honestly, once you start doing this regularly, it becomes fun. It's like your pet becomes your personal English student, and that dynamic can make the whole process feel more engaging and playful, rather than stressful or boring.
And let's face it, when learning is fun, it sticks. You remember the words better, your motivation stays high, and you actually want to keep going. That's the real secret to progress, turning practice into a part of your everyday life that you actually enjoy.
You can also turn it into a challenge. Maybe give yourself themes. Monday is food vocabulary, Tuesday is weather, Wednesday is phrasal verbs. And you teach that topic to your pet in your best English voice. Bonus points if you even dress like a teacher.
Now that's commitment. But seriously, these little gains help you stay consistent. A lot of people struggle with practice because they think it always has to be formal. But talking to your pet can be just as valuable as taking a class, maybe even more so, because you're relaxed and using real communication.
And let's not forget how it helps with spontaneous speech. In real conversations, you don't have time to prepare everything. Practicing out loud to your pet helps you think on your feet in English, and that's exactly what you need when talking to native speakers.
Another unexpected benefit, teaching out loud helps you stay curious. If you try to explain something and realize you don't fully understand it, like how conditionals work, you might go look it up. That curiosity leads to deeper learning.
Right? It's kind of like becoming your own teacher. And you start to feel proud of yourself, too, because you're not just consuming content passively, you're actively using the language in creative ways.
So, whether your pet listens patiently, walks away, or falls asleep mid-lesson, it doesn't matter. What matters is you're speaking. You're taking charge of your English, using it daily, and building real, lasting fluency.
And if you don't have a pet, no problem. You can talk to a plant, a stuffed animal, even an empty chair. The key isn't who you're speaking to, it's that you're speaking, practicing forming thoughts in English, and getting comfortable with your own voice.
Exactly. The act of verbalizing thoughts in English helps bridge that gap between knowledge and fluency. So many learners know the words and rules but freeze up when it's time to speak. But if you get used to talking, even to a silent audience, you start breaking through that barrier.
And you can even create scenarios. Like, pretend your pet just asked, what's the difference between make and do? Now you're not just reviewing grammar, you're explaining it. That's a higher level of learning right there.
You're building confidence, too. The more you speak without fear of judgment, the easier it becomes to speak in front of actual people. Your pet isn't going to correct you, and that gives you a chance to experiment freely with the language.
And sometimes, when you explain something out loud, you realize, oh, I actually understand this more than I thought. That's such a motivating feeling, like you're seeing your progress in real time.
Plus, your pet might become your biggest fan. Imagine them wagging their tail or purring while you explain English idioms. It kind of becomes this little motivational boost to keep going.
And if you're consistent, even just 5 minutes a day, those minutes add up. You'll look back and realize how much more confident, fluent, and expressive you've become, all because you started talking to your dog, or your goldfish, in English.
Yeah, who would have thought that your journey to fluency might begin with the sentence, "Okay, Rocky, today we're learning the present perfect."
Ha ha, exactly. And you might even start to associate English with positive emotions, playfulness, affection, joy, because you're tying it to a comforting routine. That's powerful. Language sticks better when it's tied to emotion.
That's such a good point. We often overlook how emotion plays into memory. If English becomes a part of your daily life in a warm, safe environment, you'll retain more, and it won't feel like such a chore.
Right, and over time, this habit can evolve. You could start recording your lessons on voice notes, listen back, and reflect. Did I sound clear? Did I use the right vocabulary? Am I improving compared to last week?
Yeah, you can even use it as a way to self-correct. Maybe you hear yourself make a grammar mistake, and you think, next time, I'll fix that. That process of catching your own errors naturally builds mastery.
And let's be honest, talking to your pet means there's zero pressure. No one's grading you. No one's interrupting. You're free to be silly, dramatic, even theatrical with your English. That kind of freedom unlocks fluency.
And the more fluent you become, the more you start thinking in English. Not just translating from your native language, but actually living inside English while you speak. That's the goal, right?
Totally. And this playful method helps you get there without burnout. You're practicing consistently, you're having fun, and you're building real communication skills, even if your dog's just staring at you wondering when dinner is.
Ha ha. But hey, as long as they're listening, you've got an audience. And that's all you need to take another step toward confidence and fluency.
And you know what's wild? Some learners have actually shared that teaching their pets became a turning point. They stopped feeling embarrassed about speaking. That inner critic quiets down when you realize, no one's judging me. I can just talk.
Yes. That internal silence is golden. Once you turn down the volume on self-doubt, your voice gets louder. And the more you use it, the stronger it gets, just like any muscle.
And let's not forget the vocabulary practice. Even if you're just describing your pet's actions, you're stretching. You're yawning. Now you're scratching the couch again. You're reinforcing verbs and sentence structure in a natural context.
Exactly. It's like you're narrating life in English, which is great practice for fluency. If you do that daily, it eventually becomes second nature. You'll find yourself describing things in English even when you're not trying.
That's when you know you're leveling up, when English isn't just something you study, but something you live. Even in the little moments.
And let's be honest, the more you turn language learning into something personal and fun, the more likely you are to stick with it. It's not about perfection, it's about connection. Even if it's with your cat.
Yes. And your pet won't care if you mix up tenses or mispronounce a word. What matters is that you keep going. And the more you talk, the more fluent you become, one paw, one sentence at a time.
So if you're out there feeling shy, start small. Grab your pet, or a pillow if you have to, and just begin. You don't need an audience. You just need a voice. Your own.
So, whether you're practicing with a pet, a plant, or even just your reflection, the point is, you're speaking. You're putting English into motion. That's what builds fluency, not perfection.
Absolutely. Don't underestimate the power of small, silly habits. Today it might be a fake lesson to your dog, and tomorrow you're speaking confidently to real people. Every bit of practice counts.
So go ahead, teach your pet English. Narrate your walk. Explain your day. The more you use your voice, the more fluent, natural, and confident you'll become.
Thanks for tuning in today. And remember, fluency starts with showing up, even if your only student has 4 legs and a tail.
We'll catch you in the next episode. Until then, keep speaking, no matter who's listening.